I see no neutral things, because I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things, because I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things, because I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things, because I have no neutral thoughts. You see no neutral things, because you have no neutral thoughts. It's always the thought that comes first, despite the temptation to believe, despite the temptation to believe that it is the other way around. This is not the way the world thinks, but you must learn it is the way you think. I see no neutral things, because I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things, because I have no neutral thoughts. Now look around and say to yourself, I do not see a neutral wall, because my thoughts about walls are not neutral. I do not see a neutral body, because my thoughts about bodies are not neutral. Now you do it. I do not see a neutral camera, because my thoughts about cameras are not neutral. I do not see a neutral whatever, because my thoughts about whatever are not neutral. Now hum it. Now you see. I do not see a neutral whatever, because my thoughts about whatever are not neutral. I do not see a neutral because my thoughts about are not neutral. I do not see a neutral I do not see a neutral because my thoughts about are not neutral. I do not see a neutral because my thoughts about are not neutral. I do not see a neutral because my thoughts about are not neutral. I do not see a neutral because my thoughts about are not neutral. Look around and do that. I do not see a neutral because my thoughts about are not neutral. I do not see a neutral because my thoughts about are not neutral. I do not see a neutral because my thoughts about are not neutral. I do not see a neutral because my thoughts about are not neutral. I see no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. Well, thank you all for joining me in studying Lesson 17. I see no neutral things in A Course in Miracles. I'm Forgiveness Willie, teaching forgiveness from my bamboo patch here in the Ozarks. Let's look at Lesson 17 for Saturday, January the 17th of 2026. We're reading from the Foundation for Inner Peace version. I see no neutral things. This idea is another step in the direction of identifying cause and effect as it really operates in the world. You see no neutral things because you have no neutral thoughts. It's always the thought that comes first. It is always the thought that comes first. despite the temptation to believe that it is the other way around. This is not the way the world thinks, but you must learn it is the way you think. If it were not so, perception would have no cause and would itself be the cause of reality. In view of its highly variable nature, this is hardly likely. In applying today's idea, say to yourself with eyes open, I see no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. So you're going to start out your practicing by saying, I see no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. Then look about you, resting your glance on each thing you note long enough to say, I do not see a neutral whatever you're looking at because my thoughts about whatever I'm looking at are not neutral. For example, you might say, I do not see a neutral wall because my thoughts about walls are not neutral. Or, I do not see a neutral body because my thoughts about bodies are not neutral. As usual, it is essential to make no distinctions between what you believe to be animate and inanimate, pleasant or unpleasant. Regardless of what you may believe, you do not see anything that is really alive or really joyous. This is because you are unaware as yet of any thought that is really true and therefore really happy. Truth and happiness go together. And he's saying at the beginning levels, we don't even have awareness of the thoughts that are really true. Therefore, really happy. 3 or 4 practice periods are recommended, and no less than 3 are required for maximum benefit. Even if you experience resistance, do at least 3. However, if you do experience resistance, the length of the practice period may be reduced to less than the minute or so that is otherwise recommended. Okay, so if you can do a minute or so, a minute or 2, whatever, well then do that 4 times today. But do at least 3 for at least closing your eyes, open your eyes and open eyes this time. Open your eyes, look around, say, that post, let's make sure I get it right for you. I do not see that post because my thoughts about posts are not neutral. And I'm saying there's a chicken. I do not see that, or let's see now. I do not see a neutral post because my thoughts about posts are not neutral. Or I do not see a neutral screen that I'm looking at and that you're looking at because my thoughts about screens are not neutral. And just look around. I do not see that bamboo as neutral because my thoughts about bamboo are not neutral. And he says just keep looking at it while you're saying it, and then go on to the next, and just take a minute and do that 4 times today. Not too difficult. For you multiple year students, I'd still encourage you to sit in the silence after you do that for a while and be still and quiet. Do that morning and evening at least. If you're reading along out of the original edition in chapter 2, read paragraphs 82 through 96. If you're reading along out of the Bible, read Matthew chapter 17. Out of Iyengar Yoga, page 29. Oh, let's see. What is that? Page 20. Is that page 29? And go ahead and on the next page read the first half of it. That about the 8 limbs of yoga, the yamas and the niyamas, the observations and the restraints. And out of A Course of Love, read chapter 3, paragraph 1 through 11. Not too hard, but if you read those things, you'll get through all those books this year. Let's take a look now at our text reading, and we're in chapter 2, Roman numeral 5, which is the function of the miracle worker, and we left off on paragraph 6. Let's go jump back at paragraph 5, though, and look at it. The sole responsibility of the miracle worker is to accept the atonement for himself. This means you recognize that mind is the only creative level and that its errors are healed by the atonement. Once you accept this, your mind can only heal. By denying your mind any destructive potential and reinstating its purely constructive powers, you place yourself in a position to undo the level confusion of others. The message you then give to them is the truth that their minds are similarly constructive and their miscreations cannot hurt them. By affirming this, you release the mind from over-evaluating its own learning device, that'd be the body, and restore the mind to its true position as the learner. The mind's the learner, not the body. You don't want to identify yourself as a body. All the near-deathers have had that experience. Look down at the body. Even if you are an out-of-the-body experience, you oftentimes look down at the body and go, well, that's not me. The near-deathers say, well, I'm still alive, but there's my dead body there. Well, I guess I'm not the body. Huh? Paragraph 6. It should be emphasized again that the body does not learn any more than it creates. As a learning device, it merely follows the learner. But if it is falsely endowed with self-initiative, it becomes a serious obstruction to the very learning it should facilitate. Only the mind is capable of illumination. Spirit is already illuminated, and the body in itself is too dense to be illuminated. The mind, however, can bring its illumination to the body by recognizing that it is not the learner and is therefore unamenable to learning. Unamenable, what's that mean? Not responsive to, like something that's not responsive to learning or to suggestion. So the actual definition, not responsive to suggestion or persuasion, difficult to control or persuade. So let's read it again. So unamenable is not responsive to suggestion. The mind, however, can bring its illumination to the body by recognizing that it is not the learner and is therefore not responsive to suggestion, not amenable to learning. The body is, however, easily brought into alignment with a mind that has learned to look beyond it toward the light. The body is, however, easily brought into alignment with a mind that has learned to look beyond itself toward the light. Wow, the tunnel of light. Let's go towards the light, always. Corrective learning always begins with the awakening of spirit and the turning away from the belief in physical sight. This often entails fear, because you are afraid of what your spiritual sight will show you. I said before that the Holy Spirit cannot see error and is capable only of looking beyond it to the defense of atonement. There is no doubt that this may produce discomfort, yet the discomfort is not the final outcome of the perception. When the Holy Spirit is permitted to look upon the defilement of the altar, He also looks immediately toward the atonement. Nothing he perceives can induce fear. Everything that results from spiritual awareness is merely channelized toward correction. Discomfort is aroused only to bring the need for correction into awareness. Isn't that a nice way to look at discomfort? Like, wow, I'm being shown that I'm starting to become aware that there's another way. So next time you feel uncomfortable, say, wow, there's a lesson right here real close by. What is it? Discomfort is aroused only to bring the need for correction into awareness. Paragraph 8. The fear of healing arises in the end from an unwillingness to accept unequivocally that healing is necessary. The fear of healing arises in the end from an unwillingness to accept completely, unequivocally, that healing is necessary. What the physical eye sees is not corrective, nor can error be corrected by any device that can be seen physically. As long as you believe in what your physical sight tells you, Your attempts at correction will be misdirected. The real vision is obscured because you cannot endure to see your own defiled altar. But since the altar has been defiled, your state becomes doubly dangerous unless it is perceived. Let's look at it again. As long as you believe in what your physical sight tells you, your attempts at correction will be misdirected. The real vision is obscured because you cannot endure to see your own defiled altar. That'd be real vision, to see that, okay, I've defiled my altar. I've let fear come in and separate me from the light of goodness, of truth, of being really happy. Therefore, really true and really happy thoughts. Okay? The real vision is obscured because you cannot endure to see your own defiled altar. But since the altar has been defiled, your state becomes doubly dangerous unless you do perceive that your altar's defiled and it needs correction. Then you'll quit having all those pains that you're having. The discomfort is aroused only to bring the need for correction into awareness. Well, once you've taken care of what was causing the discomfort, which was not to look at your own unforgivenesses, really, you've defiled the altar. You can't see the one-ment, the at-one-ment. Paragraph 9. Healing is an ability that developed after the separation, before which it was unnecessary. Because we were all holy. We were all in truth and all abiding in happiness and love. Always. No wasn't any exception. Couldn't even get sick. Healing is an ability that developed after the separation, before which it was unnecessary. Like all aspects of the belief in space and time, it is temporary. So healing is something that happens in space and time. And just like space and time itself is temporary, so is healing. Once you've been healed and you're back to your true state, you won't need any healing anymore. However, as long as time persists, healing is needed as a means of protection. This is because healing rests on charity. And charity is a way of perceiving the perfection of another, even if you cannot perceive it in yourself. And of course, charity and love are synonymous. But there could be some concepts in love that as we develop, we start, seeing a wider spectrum. And charity is likely one of those spectrums of love. This is because healing rests on charity, and charity is a way of perceiving the perfection of another, even if you cannot perceive it in yourself. Most of the loftier concepts of which you are capable now are time-dependent. Charity is really a weaker reflection of a much more powerful love encompassment that is far beyond any form of charity you can conceive of as yet. Charity is essential to right-mindedness in the limited sense in which it can now be attained. Charity is, and the last paragraph, 10. And I'm thinking of there in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, he said, now abideth faith, hope, and charity, or love. These three, but the greatest of these is charity. Well, that's kind of, that's where I take the word charity from, the King James Version. Use of the word love is used in many other translations. Okay, so anyway, paragraph 10, last paragraph. Charity is a way of looking at another as if he had already gone far beyond his actual accomplishments in time. You see him at the end where he's already perfect. That's your job as a miracle worker, is to see your brother perfect, even if he doesn't see himself that way yet. Since his own thinking is faulty, he cannot see the atonement for himself, or he would have no need for charity. The charity that is accorded him is both an acknowledgement that he needs help and a recognition that he will accept it. Both of these perceptions clearly imply their dependence on time, making it apparent that charity still lies within the limitations of this world. I said before that only revelation transcends time. The miracle is an expression of charity. Oh, the miracle as an expression of charity can only shorten time. It must be understood, however, that whenever you offer a miracle to another, you are shortening the suffering of both of you. You don't have to sacrifice a thing in order to offer the love or the charity that everyone deserves. That's what the atonement does for us. It says it must be understood, however, whenever you offer a miracle to another, you're shortening the suffering of both of you. This corrects retroactively as well as progressively. Wow, you can heal something that happened in the past by just seeing the love that always is there and that time can't intrude upon. Okay, let's see what's going on around the world. It is Feast of St. Anthony Day for many Catholics. Let's see what else. Blessing of the Animals for Hispanic Catholics. Oh, the Feast of St. Anthony is an Egyptian monk Catholic. I guess St. Anthony was in Egypt. Maybe he'd gone to Egypt, or maybe he was an Egyptian monk. I'm not sure. Bald Eagle Appreciation Day. I meant to look up a little bit about them, and I just didn't do it. But we have bald eagles around here. I will say this: they are so stately. I love them, and they come around this way, and we see them a lot, because I think a lot of your poultry farmers throw their dead birds out, and I think it makes nice food for the bald eagles around here. Ben Franklin Day. Appreciate old Ben Franklin, a little wise man from the 1700s. Cable Car Day. Ditch New Year's Resolution Day. Well, if it's not working for you and it's not meaningful, well then ditch it, I guess. International Mentoring Day. And thank you all for coming to listen to me. I hope I can be of some help to you. It's my desire to help you, and by helping you, I help myself. We're doing the very thing it said there at the last sentences, that when we offer love or a miracle or charity to our brothers and sisters, we're healing them and ourselves. In the past and in the future. We Are Not Broken Day. There's seeing the holiness in each other. Judgment Day. Of course, we'll leave that to God. And His judgment is, you're my holy beloved son. Enter in here. Be happy forever. Kid Inventors Day and Bootleggers Day. Hotheads Chill Day. That'd be a good thing to do if you're a hothead. Lose the Jet Lag Day. Use your gift card day. Pie Day and Soup Swap Day. That was kind of a little element I thought was kind of cool. You each make some soup and then go around you have a meeting place and all share your different soups with all your friends. And let's see, we want to talk about another corn, and I found both of these on both Seed Savers Exchange and on Baker Creek. It says in Seed Savers Exchange that glass gem, great for crafts and ornamental decorations, for grinding into cornmeal or simply popping. This variety bears ears with an array of jewel-toned kernels, developed by Seed Savers Exchange member Carl Barnes and stewarded by his protege Greg Schoen. Glass gem bears 1 to 2 ears per stalk, each 6 to 8 inches long, on plants 8 to 10 inches tall, late maturing 110 days. I thought, I wanted to read to you what it says. I'm trying to hold my umbrella from blowing away. The wind's really coming up. I wanted to read what it says in Baker's Creek too, about the grain, and it shows a picture of it here, a really good picture in Baker's Creek. Can you see that right there in the middle? Isn't that beautiful? Anyway, it makes popcorn, or you can grind it. I doubt it'd be all colorful, probably just white after you pop it, but still be pretty when you're in the jar. Glass gem, 105 days. Amazing color, indescribably beautiful flint or popcorn. Comes in an endless range of colors. The translucent kernels really do shine brilliantly like glass. On the cob, they resemble strands of glass beads. The 3 to 8 inch ears are consummately decorative, but edible and delicious as well. Makes firm little morsels when popped. Can also be parched, ground into meal, and more. Sturdy plants reach to 9 feet tall and throw numerous side shoots where the season is long enough. Bred from a number of native varieties by Carl White Eagle Barnes, the famous Cherokee corn collector to whom we owe our gratitude for his life work of collecting, preserving, and sharing so many native corn varieties. Thank you, Baker Creek and Seed Savers Exchange, for that information. Now let's just do one more practice period before we close today. And we're just going to look around. Let me see if I can get my foot on my umbrella before it blows away. I'm going to get my leg against it so it stays put while we're singing, because I can't hold it with my hands. I see no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things. I have no neutral thoughts. I do not see a neutral wall because my thoughts about walls are not neutral. I don't see a neutral body because my thoughts about bodies are not neutral. I see no neutral whatever because my thoughts about whatever not neutral. I see no neutral because my thoughts about are not neutral. Okay, now let you do her now too. I see no neutral because my thoughts about are not neutral. I see no neutral because my thoughts about are not neutral. I see no neutral because my thoughts about are not neutral. I see no neutral because my thoughts about are not neutral. I see no neutral because I'm the thoughts about because my thoughts about are not neutral. You got the idea. Because I have no neutral thoughts. I see no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. Okay, well, if you did that, you did a couple of your 4 practice periods today. If you did it more when we first opened and now we close. Otherwise, and do one when you first get up and do one when you go to bed for sure. Let that be kind of a time where you're just always going to reserve a little moment for God. And maybe before you actually hit your head to the pillow and go to sleep, have a thought of love, of charity, of God. I see no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. Our word for peace is from the Japanese, and it's Heiwa. Heiwa. 14,125 Japanese islands there in the Pacific. Heiwa. I see no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. Heiwa.